Hey guys, what is up? This is Luculio here coming at you guys with another Pokemon TCG 1 video. Now today I'm going to be doing a deck profile on a deck that I used in the last video, Cameruption. Now, this is a very interesting deck idea, and I think that I'd rather do this one first because, not a lot of people have heard of this, and I would like to think that this is an original idea that I have, so it's actually a lot of fun too. I mean, it's not really the best deck in the world, but it's definitely a lot of fun. This deck's a lot more fun than it is competitive. So, although I will say that if you do get this deck set up, oh, it's so awesome. All right. Well, anyway, enough about me bragging about myself. So, as you guys notice in the title, it's Mega Manectric Shiftry, and I think, like at first, you're gonna think Mega Manectric Shiftry, and then like when you think about the cards, you're like, oh. So basically, this is like an Empoleon deck, but a little rundown, because I personally think Empoleon's better because Shiftry has its limitations. Yeah, it does draw you more cards and it does more damage, but Empoleon's easier to set up, and he only takes like 1 energy to attack, plus, you can discard any card to draw 2 cards, whereas Shiftry, you discard a grass energy. So, let's go ahead and talk about Shiftry. We do run a 3-1-3 line of Shiftry, the 1 Nuzleaf, just in case you do bump into a Seismitoad, which I've been bumping into a lot. If you do bump into a Seismitoad deck, you will lose. Some decks have an auto loss to Seismitoad. This is one of them, unfortunately. So anyway, Shiftry has a really awesome ability. Once during your turn, you may discard Grass Energy to draw 3 cards. And it has a really good attack, too, called Deranged Dance, which it has an attack that does 20 damage times the number of bench Pokemon. So it's a really good attack because it can do up to 200 damage, which is really, really good. Now, another thing that I do want to point out, though, is that once Skyfield gets onto here, comes here, I'm actually going to run Skyfield, because if you have 8 Pokemon in your bench with Shiftry, you're already doing 160 damage, and that's not including your opponent's bench Pokemon. Now, they have to have at least 1, otherwise Shiftry will knock it out, and it's an automatic victory. So, you're probably going to do most likely 180 damage, which is going to knock out any non-Mega EX Pokemon, which is really, really cool. So Shiftry is it's good right now, but I think that once Skyfield comes out, it'll be even better, and that's what I'm going to run with this deck once it gets onto this game. I know that it's out in real life right now, but it's not out on this game yet. So, and I think that, after reading this effect, I think, the Mega Manectric synergy is obvious. So you discard Grass Energy to draw, and then you get those energies back with Mega Manectric and attach them to your Shiftry so they can attack. And plus, Turbo Bolt does 110 damage as well, which is a really good amount of damage. So Mega Manectric and Shiftry have a really good synergy when it comes to that kind of thing. I know that, Mega, what was it? Not Mega, but Shiftry, Milotic used to be a thing for a little bit. It wasn't really a competitive deck, but a lot of people were like, oh, this is actually a lot of fun. But Mega Manectric has better synergy, whereas you get energies back, and you don't have to knock out your own Pokemon to get them back, plus you're doing damage. So, in my opinion, Mega Manectric is a lot better with synergy. And also, I do want to point out that we're running a 3-2 line of Manectric. Now, the reason why we're running 3-2 is because you don't want to run too many Mega Manectrics in this deck, but you want to start with Manectric as an attacker, because C-Dot is not really... It's an okay start, but it's really squishy because it only has, like, 50 HP. Now, we're going to take a look at C-Dot for a little bit. So, for an energy, you're doing Call for Family, which allows you to search for a basic Pokemon, which isn't bad, but you need C-Dots to get your Shiftries. So, you can actually use that Call for Family to immediately get a Manectric. Now, Manectric's also not a really bad attacker at all. For 2 energies, you're already doing 60 damage, and if there's a tool attached to it, that doubles. So, it's already doing 120 damage for 2 energies if there's a tool attached to your opponent's active Pokemon, which is a really good attack. So, just a brief recap. 3-1-3 line of Shiftry and a 3-2 line of Mega Manectric. And of course, I'm going to go ahead and point out the obvious while I'm on here. We have to run 2 Spirit Links to Mega Evolve without our turn ending, which is another reason why this deck kind of does bad against Seismitoad, because, they run Headringer, and plus, Quaking Punch doesn't help with allowing you to play another one either. Alright, now for our backup Pokemon. I'm going to start with the obvious, which is Jirachi. Now, the only problem with this deck is because we're running a lot of Stage 2s, this deck is really slow. So, we need some speed. Jirachi helps you get that speed because, you can Ultra Ball for a Jirachi and then search your deck for Professor Juniper and just go to town with it. So we do have to run Jirachi in this deck for that reason. Another good support is we run a 1-0-1 line of Dusknoir. Now, the reason why I only run a 1-0-1 line was, for one thing, you really don't need Dusknoir that badly. But when you get him on the field, it's so amazing. But, yeah, Dusknoir is not like an extreme necessity to this deck. But he's definitely really good for it. I was actually considering dropping a few cards to run a 2-0-2 line of Dusknoir. I think no, it was a 2-1-2 line of Dusknoir. But the thing is, I did try running a 2-1-2 line of Dusknoir, and it was just way too clunky. Because the thing is, you know, your opponent's not going to want to bench a lot of Pokemon because, you know, once they find out the strategy, they're like, oh gosh, he has a Shiftry. Let's not bench any Pokemon. And plus, Mega Manectric does 110 damage, so it's not really a one-hit KO on anything. So Dusknoir is really good for spreading that damage around. It's just like I said, it's just like a rundown Empoleon deck. That's all it really is. But even though Dusknoir is really good in this deck, it's not an extreme necessity. But when you do get him out, it's glorious. Now, another interesting backup attacker is Dragonite. Now, this is a really interesting card that I decided to put in the deck. Although I am thinking about dropping it out because I haven't got to use him for his reasons. So, Dragonite is really good for, like, say that you have a Manectric that's really damaged and you don't have a Float Stone, you really don't want to discard energies. Dragonite is really good for that because his ability to bust in is once you have him on the bench, you can attach as many energies as you want on your field to Dragonite and then switch him out with that active Pokemon. And another good thing that Dragonite is really good for is special conditions. This is another reason why I don't want to get rid of Dragonite because if your Pokemon's asleep, you can't retreat and it's going to get knocked out next turn. Dragonite helps counter that. So Dragonite's actually really solid. I mean, he's better than a lot of people credit him for. If you want to try out this deck, you can take him out if you want, but I'm going to keep him in here for good reason. Now, about this strategy, the energies that you want to run are 8 grass and 4 lightning. Now, the reason why we run 4 lightning is just to make sure that we can power up our Manectric in time, and also Dragonite needs lightning energies to attack if need be. And of course, we need more grass energies. I'm sorry for the shakiness. My dog's moved my camera. We run more grass energies because that's the main focus of the deck is grass. Dragonite needs more grass and lightning. We need grass energies for Shiftry's ability to draw cards. So it's a really good. I think this is a really good energy count. You could run a 9-3 energy, but I just want to make sure that I have enough for Manectric because the very first Pokemon that you want to set up is Manectric before you even set up Shiftry. And then once you set up Shiftry, this energy is like tremendous. I love this deck. Alright, now our ace spec for the deck is going to be Computer Search because you are going to be wanting to search a lot more than Dowsing Machine. And I think that Dowsing Machine, let me go ahead and close out of these since my videos are uploaded. I'm uploading videos while I'm doing this. But anyway, I think Computer Search has been a lot more of a necessity than Dowsing Machine recently because Last Enter's Trump card has came out, which a lot of people have been running because there are a lot of decks that require the discard pile in order to do damage, such as Flareon and Night March. So I think Computer Search is also better for that. Plus, we do run Last Enter's Trump card in this deck. Spoiler alert. I'll get to that in just a second. So our supporter lineup, we're going to run 2 Skyla. We do need Skyla because Rare Candy, we have to search for that. Because, I mean, if we don't have a search card for Rare Candy, then this deck is screwed. Of course, we run 4 N because of consistency. 4 Juniper, I mean, standard. Last Enter's Trump card. Now, the reason why we run Last Enter's Trump card is because if this deck does get set up really quickly, it goes fast. So, you want to make sure that you can actually use this card at the right moment. I wouldn't use it if you don't need it. Of course, we run like 1 Colress because, you're going to be running a lot of bench Pokemon. Now, I opted not to run Lysander, and the reason why I opted not to run Lysander is because we have Dusknoir. And if you have Dusknoir, you really don't need Lysander because you can just spread the damage as need be and just knock out some Pokemon. So, I just wanted to throw that out, that I don't run Lysander, although I'm considering doing it anyway. I'm probably replacing something in this deck, but I'll show you in a second. Of course, we run 2 VS Seeker just to make sure that we can stay consistent with our supporters. Alright, so that's all of our supporters. Now I'm going to go to the items. First of all, I want to talk about Energy Retrieval. This is the card that I'm considering opting out for a Lysander because really it doesn't really help a lot, but it does help a little bit. Now, energy retrieval, the point of it is like if you don't need Manectric's Turbo Bolt and you need to draw more cards and you have a lot of grass energies in your discard pile, this just helps you get those energies back. But like I said, I'm considering dropping it out for more for a Lysander because I feel like that maybe a Lysander is a necessity to this deck. I don't know. So anyway, for Acrobike. Now, like I said, well, first of all, this helps Manectric. This helps Manectric's synergy a lot more. Like if you have like an energy, you can just discard the energy and grab whatever else there is in your hand if Shiftry is not set up enough. Second of all, Acrobike is helpful for speed because, like I said, this deck's really slow. It needs some speeding up, and Acrobike is actually perfect for that because it's basically like you're running a 52 card deck, which is really, really cool. And plus, like I said, you do go through this deck fast if it's separate enough, but Lysander's Trump card helps you get those cards back if need be. And plus, with VS Seeker, it's like you're continuously getting it back because you play Lysander's Trump card, then you play VS Seeker for Lysander's Trump card, and you get that VS Seeker back. So it's like an infinite amount of cards, which is really good. Let's see here, what else? Okay, 3 rare candies. So this card you definitely need to have this deck work. As long as you got 1 Shiftry and 1, well, I'd say at least either 2 Shiftry or 1 Shiftry and 1 Dusknoir, you're in good shape. So 3 is a good number. I did try running 4 once again. It was just too much. We do run 3 Ultra Ball because you do need to search for Pokemon in this deck as much as possible. And then, of course, our last card is 2 Floatstone. And the reason why we run Floatstone is because Shiftry has a 2 energy retreat cost, which, yeah, you could get back with Manectric, but there's no guarantee that that will happen. So Floatstone just helps you get free retreat, and I prefer that over Muscle Band because we have Dusknoir. So there you have it. That is my Mega Manectric Shiftry deck. I hope you guys really take this idea into consideration. It's pretty fun, and it's actually I personally think that this is really good. It's got really good synergy, and plus with Dragonite, it makes it even better. So go ahead and try this deck out. Have some fun with it. Do it, and if you want to make some changes to it, go ahead and do it. If you have any suggestions for changes, make sure you leave it in the comment section below because I do like to hear different ideas from different people. I love to hear ideas. Speaking of ideas, one thing that I would like to do is try out deck ideas from you guys. Like if there's a special deck idea that you want me to try out that's not common, or if you just want to see me use a popular deck such as Seismitoad, even though I hate Seismitoad. Go ahead and leave it in the comment section below, but make sure you leave me a full deck list because I want to see exactly what you would want to see in a deck. So, and plus I will also mention you in the video unless you don't want me to. Just say it in a comment or in the message, whatever you want to send me. Make sure you do send me the deck list, and I will tell it, say, hey, this guy has showed me this deck, and I will do a profile, and then we'll test it out. That's how I'm going to do things. So please leave me some ideas in the comment section below. I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more of this, make sure you do like and subscribe. I do one LP video a day, and then 1 TCG 1 video a day. So 2 videos a day. My LPs are uploaded at noon, and my TCG 1 videos are uploaded at 5 o'clock. So I don't have to like upload 2 videos at once, and it gives you guys a break from hearing the sound of my voice. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here because I have been rambling for the past few minutes. I hope you guys have an awesome day. But most importantly, stay cool.